Hi guys, this is Breaker, and well, this is actually quite interesting. I'm bringing you a rather lengthy replay. I want to say that this one is somewhat legitimate. This one will show what a late game TVT can check out to be like. This is between basically what is currently a diamond ranked player versus a grandmaster's ranked player. One thing that you must bear in mind is that this is all purely dependent. Oh wait, playing ranked? What? I'm a little confused here. KillerBunny? Nah. I was gonna give free points. Lol. Have you had any luck with mech in TVP? I'm sorry. I'm a Zerg. Sorry. Off racing. Oh. Okay. Well. Excuse me. That's a smoker's cough, and that is my cue to quit smoking. I will try to do it ASAP, but gotta take it one day at a time, kids. So I guess that answers the question as to why this game lasted so long, but still, nonetheless, between two Diamond League players, I think we will see Diamond-ish League players. We will see rather standard play. I don't know what else to call it as. KillerBunny, let me check you out here, bro. Yes, I'm going to check you out right here, right now. Hang on. I don't want to just do that for too long. I know it's kind of interrupting quality. And by the way, there are new skins for various units out on the map. The Supply Depot is having their own skins. Zerglings have their own skins. Marines have their own skins. They look like dare dogs, but don't let that deter you. That's actually not legitimate. Actually, KillerBunny, even though he shows up as a Diamond League player in this game, he's actually Masters League, according to drop.sc. I'm not entirely sure why. It might be his most recent Battle.net profile update or the most recent replay that he uploaded to drop.sc that gives him the air of coming across as just a Diamond League. He was possibly Diamond at the time that he was playing this game. It was not during the beta. Now, and this is quite interesting, a double gas TVT from our blue Terran. Red Terran only on a single gas. And he's going with the Reaper opening. Alright, well. So far, so good. This is all going to come down to basically our blue Terran being able to hold off against that one Reaper that comes out. One thing that you have to bear in mind as well is that they are a little bit tankier than the Reapers from Wings of Liberty, because of course they don't get a buff versus light units like they did in Wings. That's just in case you guys have been living under a rock and have only just now begun playing Heart of the Swarm. There's a lot of metagame shift. There really is. And 3 Marines. Ooh, take down that Reaper. That is 50 minerals and 50 gas that we're not gonna see. Oh wow, this long without the names on this. Okay, so that's 50 minerals and 50 gas. We're not gonna see KillerBunny getting back. That's 137 resources lost altogether for the poor guy. And now here we are, Tech Lab, yes, being tacked on to the factory, but of course we also have a starport in production. This is kind of reminiscent of what we would see from like the classical non-mirror match 1-1-1 opener for Terran, if you will. One thing that you must bear in mind, again, I say that a lot now, it seems to be my new tag word. The thing that you must bear in mind right now is Winter has to do damage with the 1-1-1 opening that he's coming out with, because his own expo is just now getting started. Like, we're not talking about an upgrade from an orbital, command center to an orbital command. We're talking about the upgrade from we're talking about just building a command center from scratch. He's got 70 seconds to go on that, and in the meantime his macro is basically going to suffer. While he is slightly ahead on workers now, his opponent is much further ahead than he is. In production, we have KillerBunny. Hold on, wait, I'm sorry. Yes, Winter, he does have more workers now, but of course the mules, his opponent will have double mules, and Yeah, basically, I thought I made a mistake when I called that out a second ago. There are Widow Mines at the front line now. We do have interesting Cloak going down for Winter. In research, I'm not sure, you know, this is basically, and I myself am guilty of this as well. The only thing that we can blame for Winter doing this is the fact that he plays Wings of Liberty. We all played Wings of Liberty. That's why we're here playing Heart of the Swarm. We're looking for a new meta game, and this is the only reason, like, I want to say, you know, when that second Banshee comes out, if it gets shut down, you know, we're just going to see Winter in such a far behind discrepancy. Right now, there's actually 2 Vikings chasing this one Banshee, and the Cloak is just about ready in 3 seconds. Alright. So there it is. Basically, that was a harassment move that didn't pan out for Winter. No, poor guy. KillerBunny actually held that quite well. And neither side has lost any workers yet. No. Not yet. Just making sure I didn't miss anything as the observer out here. 33 to 32 workers, that is, right now. And 2 Banshees out on the map, but of course, that's like 1 Viking to match each Banshee. I want to say that maybe, just maybe, if they move over to this location, they might do some damage, but it looks like, oh no, I'm sorry. I thought maybe that Banshee had actually taken some heat, but there's a Widow Mine and a missile turret right here, so they don't want to venture in too close to the mineral line. Looks like they may just do that. Wow, the missile turret actually has extended range on picking up on the Banshees here. And if nothing else, we could just see the scan go down from one of these orbital commands. We do have the Banshees basically being microed. SCVs being pulled off the line to repair that. And I guess this is basically just to kind of freak out Blue Terran, if you will. He's trying to use these Banshees where he can, but unfortunately, it's cost him more than it's costed KillerBunny. This is one of the longer games that I have casted, so just kind of sit back. If you guys are just now, what's the word I'm looking for? If you guys are just now tuning in, lol, this isn't a live stream, but if you guys are, just go ahead and grab some popcorn, maybe a soda pop. Because right now we are in the macro phase of the game, and this actually looks quite interesting. KillerBunny is taking a medevac, and he's going to put it in the main of Winter, while Winter is taking his third. If Winter loses too many workers from this, he's actually in the gutter. The reason why he's actually taking his third this early is because he knows he didn't do any damage with that. He didn't do any economic damage whatsoever, so he's got to try and keep himself up in terms of macro. Ignite Afterburners does get activated. The medevac goes into the mineral line, and there's a tank to kind of alleviate the stresses that any Widow Mines could cause. But we don't have a scan going down just yet. I want to say that we just saw 1 worker get killed, and that was it. Of course, the medevac going down here to try and freak out Winter again, but it's actually empty. And thus far, everything that is red, save for this medevac, is gone from Winter's base. So that was actually not too effective of a harassment move, but simultaneously we did have Winter have his own harassment move going down. I don't know what exactly it was. I don't know if it was classical Hellions or if they were combat Hellions. But one thing that you must bear in mind is that when combat Hellions are morphed, only 2 of them can fit into a medevac. So if you want to look at who came out ahead in this, believe it or not, it's actually Winter. He's got his third going down right now. If he can hold off any attacks or any pressure put onto this third, he will actually prevail in the end. Especially given that both players are completely even with what they have thus far. And there's no specific dynamic to a mirror matchup. But it looks like we have double armory going down for KillerBunny, and now bunch of factories being tacked on. So this to me says mech. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. And now we have Winter just sieged up outside of his opponent's base. Bear in mind, again I say this, that we're at the stage in the game where if you simply misplace all of your tanks, if you run them all into where they should not be going, then it can cost you a game. And there's a Raven here right next to these tanks that are getting attacked, and the Vikings just have to put on a couple attacks to deal with that Banshee. They do. Marines moving forward, trying to deal with the tank up here on the ledge, but they lost their vision. And this tank is still within shooting range of that tank. Just really annoying each other. That's all that we have. But one thing I like about this is the way that Winter Bunny is just following it up. He's like, okay, so I'm losing tanks. So I'm losing maybe a couple of tanks. I want to say that this tank should definitely move back. Alright, so thus far, I want to say that, you know, maybe we're going to see Winter do relatively fine. This game did last about 40 minutes, and it looks like we're going to have a Raven Hunter Seeker missile collide with that one tank. Yes. Some damage done, and there's a scan just to make sure that these tanks are not within attacking range, but oh my goodness. These Hellions are actually going to get some tank kills. And if we check the losses for both sides right now, it's actually a lot heavier for Winter than it is for KillerBunny. But Winter right now, I think his focus is basically to just keep on macroing up. That way he'll be able to outproduce his opponent eventually. We do have one orbital command that's getting ready to go down at this position. Both players, actually Winter further ahead in worker count right now. This is where things get absolutely scientific, and someone's got to put on the supreme intellectual glasses and just say, according to my calculations, you know, because we see Winter is actually ahead in terms of macro by about, I want to say, double of that of his opponent. Like, look at this. This is actually quite bad. Wait, the main? What the heck? Okay, I guess all the SCVs got pulled off in an untimely manner. There's actually still a significant deal of minerals here. There's, you know, I think optimal saturation for that would be 12 workers, but, I don't know. I'm not the Diamond League Terran. I'm just the Diamond League Zerg. Herp-der-derp. So yeah, this game so far just looks so good, so that's the whole reason why I'm casting it. And basically we have both sides opting for a kind of leapfrog style, if you will. Of course, we have Winter, I think, with a superior medevac count. Yes, he has 8 more than his opponent, and that was not just a pun. By the way, get a look at that nice supply depot skin. Yep. Okay, so here we go. Scans up there. Medevac's barely having some kind of vision there, but I really want to see him put a forward medevac in position just to see what his opponent's got. Vikings. Everywhere. And now we have a Raven over here, just kind of maintaining his patience between the natural and the third, if you will. If we just had these medevacs inching forward, then we would have some supply depots that would be under siege, but it looks like his attention is not being put right here. Yes, I thought there was some harass going down there, but I did not see it in time. Excuse me. Scan goes down. Tanks basically hitting what they can. Excuse me, another scan. Ugh. By Blue Terran. And it looks like we're going to have Winter on the receiving end of some Hellion harass. Question, is it going to be Blue Flame or Red Flame? Looks like just ordinary Red Flame for now. Targeting down the command center from the mineral line. And it looks like we have the main force of Winter pulling back to deal with that. Very good work. I just want to say it's actually quite remarkable how quickly a Terran can get their infrastructure back up in a matter of seconds. One thing I will point out right now is we have Winter actually ahead in 30 supplies simply because he elected to take a much earlier expo, played greedy, and now he's actually got his 4th on the way, just directly building the command center there. Not even pre-prepping, pre-preparing, getting the 4th command center ready in advance. He just puts it right down there ASAP. He's like, I don't have time to waste with this crap. But this is interesting. We actually have a 5th command center going down the main. I'm thinking it's just a mule cranking machine. And here we go. Oh, this is the critical siege out moment. It looks like KillerBunny's tanks do siege first, but of course, that is some excellent positioning. It really is. But with what we see now, most of the supply from Winter actually, I think this is him getting a little bit arrogant. Most of his supply was actually tied up in medevac, so all of his Marines are now gone, and so is his tank force. All of it. Every last bit of it. There's only 3 tanks left out of a once sprawling army. Now if he can just reproduce all of his tanks fine, he'll be just fine. But I don't think KillerBunny realizes just how far ahead he is with that. Even with just a single 1 HP tank being repaired right now. And do we have any significant tech ups now? We do have Blue Flame in research for right now. That's the Infernal Pre-Igniter. Alright. Both sides really gearing up for the late game now. +3 infantry weapons, +3 infantry armor, +2 vehicle weapons on the way. And 1 Viking being cranked out at a time. Here we go. It looks like, you know, KillerBunny's ready to put on the push pants and just say, hey, you can't deal with this. And Winter's just expoing in every direction. There we go. Lots of Marines coming out to help these tanks get rid of the Vikings. And these tanks up here are actually doing an excellent job of dealing with the siege tanks below. We actually see that Winter is going to have to expend some scans to actually get the shots out. Single shot taking down the last 2 tanks down here. And right now, I think it doesn't matter. You know, we may just see... I'm pretty sure we're going to see Winter lose his expo here, but it's alright considering the mineral line is going dry anyway. There's no way it can be harvested for maximum saturation or optimal saturation for that matter. Supply depot gets caught by this scan. Yes, sir, it does. And I just don't know what to make of this yet. We just kind of have a receding tank line for Winter at the moment. And now we have command centers going down everywhere for KillerBunny behind all of this. Looks like the action's just kind of calmed down for the time being. Oh my god, that one Hellion in back, so clever, actually doing everything it can to take damage, because these tanks only do 38 damage versus light units, which would be right here. And they do get healed by medevac, so that's actually quite powerful. And they also get healed. Excuse me, they also get repaired by SCVs. I'm sorry guys, this might be like a small detail that I didn't notice since the end of the beta, but the end of the beta did, and this is actually quite interesting. This Expo is going to float to this location. So we're going to have basically Winter in kind of a weird position to say the very least. But now we do have a medevac drop going down here. It looks like the medevac managed to get a handful of Marines out before it was dealt with. And these Marines are going to be dispatched of relatively quickly. Let's see how many workers they got. I don't think it was enough to make them pan out what their sacrifice was, but I really think a drop down here in the 3rd would be ideal. Definitely. We do have tanks rolling in over here, and we just see Winter is not willing to lift up. He does not want to concede that, because if he does, then he's giving his opponent another location to Expo 2. But alas, he does, and I'm a little curious, are we going to see maybe this thing get put down somewhere and turned into a planetary fortress? I think that would be quite interesting to see. Ooh, but there's just too many missile turrets here for that to even be feasible. Alright, now this looks like it's some kind of an all-in from Winter. Here we go. Every single Marine gets stemmed. Siege tanks in back. Everything that got pulled basically meant to tank for the tanks, and that's kind of a lolsy thing to say, I know. Here we go. Widow Mines over here, and boom! They go off on the Vikings, and another round of Marines comes in to basically deal with that. So Winter is still in this game. He lost about 7 workers with that attack that he just took, or that he just dealt out on his opponent. We do have the orbital command here, just basically spotting for everything. He's trying to basically play mental chess. He's like, okay, great, how do I out-macro my opponent? And this is one of the great ways that you can do that. Medevac drops. Friendly fire. And finally, a wave of 3 Vikings arrives. And it looks like we have Winter being forced to engage into a position where he doesn't want to. Blue Flame Hellions coming into the mix right now. But now I think things just may pan out for Winter just a bit. He's pushing back. And one thing I think we need to see him do right now is immediately send something to this mineral line to seep the income from that site. Hellion, of course, getting by just about everything. Just about for a moment there. And now we have the third base of Winter getting reestablished, of course. Oh, that was the third base. The fourth base is now getting just non-stop Hellion dropped, if you will. I say dropped, but the word more properly is run by. And we actually have Winter losing a good deal of workers from this. Is actually quite critical. 56 workers over the course of this game. He had to pull a good deal off the mineral line. Now he's actually able to take his expo back over here. And this is the beauty of TVT, guys. I'm not quite sure what, this doesn't really seem to have anything astonishingly new that sings out to me since, what's the word I'm looking for? Since the Brood War days, or excuse me, since the Wings of Liberty days, as everything that we have being cranked out right now, save for the Battle Hellions, are units that can be found in Wings of Liberty. Now we do have a couple more comsats going down, a couple more orbital commands going down. I know I keep on calling them comsats by accident, but I never was a Brood War player. That's the interesting part about me. And it looks like we have Winter just completely oblivious to the expo that he has here. No, actually, it's not him putting that down. It's actually KillerBunny who wants to put it down in that direction. All these tanks unsieged. I think we should immediately see Winter just stem an A move into the tank line, but it's a little bit late for that. And oh my god, KillerBunny, he's got all these Vikings. All he has to do is land them, and he, I think he's gonna do a lot of damage with them. We need Winter to really wake up and realize that he actually has a command center here that he can throw down. Finally, Viking chases it away, but oh my god. He's like, oh great, there are SCVs here. I can't deal with that. This Widow Mine, in its best interest to lift up and relocate itself. Definitely that much goes without saying. And now we have a small group of Marines moving in here to deal with the orbital command that came down. Mule coming down, landing to repair, but of course that's a fail. And it looks like some of these Marines are basically getting summoned to attack this. And I think now is actually maybe the golden-ish opportunity that we've seen Winter looking for. His tanks sieged up in a beautiful position. All of these tanks unsieged. That's actually a big blow to the gut for KillerBunny. And now we see his supply is getting torn in half. All of the surviving tanks are actually not in attacking range of the tanks on the high ground here for Winter. His own supply just kind of dwindling-ish, if you will. But these two tanks are going to move into this one tank, and they actually have ground superiority right now with the present location that they have. But one thing that would steal him the game is if he could just produce one Banshee. Of course, right now he can't really do that, and we can't see KillerBunny unsieging presently. Right now, what we do see is Winter is putting a good surround and siege on this, I want to say, 4th-ish base. There's one SCV up here, so I wouldn't mind seeing some SCV harass here. Actually going into this line wouldn't hurt it all that much, I think. Vikings finally giving some good spotting to the tanks over here. And it looks like, sadly, both medevacs were taken down. Scan going down, and oh my god, this is the move that Winter didn't want to make, but he's forced to make it. And unfortunately, his tanks end up proxy shooting his own guys. And this looks like manor scans are now going down. It's as though Winter has forgotten just like what kind of resources he has. His income is completely, wow. Actually, both sides of the map are actually entering low econ situations. So the question is, who can outlast Huam? And that's about it. But I want to say that KillerBunny basically has to wake up and realize that he's got a mineral line here all at his disposal. He just has to be able to call down mules on it. Right now, it seems like both players are saving all of their energy for scans, and there is income on this base for KillerBunny, interestingly enough. And this is actually a little bit dangerous. I want to say a little bit dangerous. Winter actually getting an okay position there. Marines trying to deal with the tanks. They can't really, but there's 5 tanks grouped up here, and I like their positioning. One Marine just kind of steps out there into the open, and he's like, oh, okay, so that's what a tank does. I thought they got buffs versus armor. Tanks resieging in an inch forward, and it looks like we got Winter taking them down at a heartbeat. And finally, we have the Vikings coming into play. And now, this is actually just a little bit dangerous. Just a little bit. Winter pulls back. He re-sieges on the high ground. Kind of like that move. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing too terribly wrong with it. These Marines moving out in a position to try and attack the planetary fortress. I'm wondering if he knows this is a planetary. No, he doesn't, but he's basically catching on to this. He's like, oh, wait, there's an expo there. And he's just completely oblivious to that expo. The motion sensor tower goes off. Oh my god, the Marines are actually going to get decimated by 1 tank. There it is. And the stim goes down, but there's no medevac there to heal. Looks like they're going to cause some economic damage. A lot of it, actually. They try to get into the main, but of course 2 Marines versus 1 tank doesn't get the job done. And the only thing you could really harm here is the infrastructure. Production facilities. And so far we have Winter catching up just slightly. Just a little bit narrowly. His own production is even with that of his opponents, but he really has to do something to take down his opponent's production. And that was actually quite dangerous. I really want to see Winter throw something to harass this mineral line. He's also completely, I want to say, oblivious to what's going down there at that particular location. And now, actually, the 3 o'clock lower right-ish position. And this is actually quite dangerous as well. He's just leaving this completely bare and exposed. He has no widow mines to deal with this kind of harassment. And he just kind of lets it just go static, if you will. 4th base here getting dry. Natural here, not much better. We have Thors coming into the mix now as well. We had about 4 of them getting cranked out at the same time, so maybe, just maybe, we'll see Winter do a little bit better. Those will deal with the Vikings quite well, but I think this is basically forcing Winter into a position where he's not going to be that comfortable engaging. Now, also bear in mind that this time around the Thors actually have 2 methods of attack. There's a high impact payload that targets a single target. Let's see. And we also have the 250mm Punisher cannons for air units. I believe they, yeah, this is the old, I can't say for sure. No, Javelin missile launchers. Okay, this is the one that has splash damage. He's actually got it in classic Wings of Liberty mode Thor, if you will. The tanks here doing lots of damage. And now we just have KillerBunny saying, you know what, I've got a surplus of income. I've got more than you, and I'm going to send it in this direction. Basically is what he's doing right now. I'm thinking idle workers could be put on mineral lines or just be thrown away, but right now we have KillerBunny in that position where he's like, okay, it could be dangerous for me to do that. Infrastructure buildings for Winter being attacked right now, and we see Winter being forced to engage in a position where he doesn't want to. The Thors are going down, and it looks like we're going down to the last 2, yes, last 2 Thors, last 1 tank. Mule being called down to try and issue some emergency repairs, which is not going to pan out. And there it is, GG from Winter. Good sport after all. Alright, so guys, if you liked what you saw here, just go ahead and click on the follow button. This has been Breaker. Click on the subscribe button if you would. I'll see you guys later.